Ashley Webster in Athens. Joining us now on the phone to weigh in on the crisis overseas is Mohamed El-Erian. He is Chief Economic Advisor of Allianz. Keith and Cheryl here with me on set. And Mohamed, it is wonderful to have you on the program. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria.
Mohamed, I want to read you a quote from Mario Draghi. He says, and he told this to the Italian Il Sole 24 newspaper, he says, it will be, quote, really difficult to end the Greek crisis and save the country from bankruptcy, says Mario Draghi.
He's absolutely right. Greece has long-term issues, and in addition, the last 9 days, the economy has been subjected to a sudden stop. When you close the banks, Maria, you bring other elements of economic activity to a halt, and that's what's happened. And today, the Greek government had to tighten capital controls and had to extend the bank closure, and that tells you how bad things are on the ground.
What about Europe, Mohamed? What kind of an impact is this having to the Eurozone, and are you still investing in Europe?
So, Maria, the good news is compared to 2010 and 2012, Europe has taken a lot of measures to contain the adverse spillover. So will there be an immediate impact of a Grexit, which is likely yes, but it can be contained. And ironically, the Eurozone can not only manage this, but under certain scenarios, it can emerge stronger.
Do you expect we will get a deal, or do you think Greece ultimately exits? I mean, you know, Sunday's that deadline, and tonight's the deadline for Greece to come up with a plan, and then Sunday they'll hear from Eurozone creditors.
Well, I think the probability is that Greece ends up by exiting, and it can exit for one or more reasons. One is they don't come up with a deal that's credible, and two is because politicians lose control of the situation on the ground. And that's happening every day. We are very close in Greece to introducing IOUs to pay pensioners, to pay suppliers, to pay civil servants. And the minute you do that, you introduce a parallel currency. And then economic and financial logic take hold, and it's very difficult to stop the Greg accident, to stop stumbling out of the Eurozone.
What's the impact on the U.S., Mohamed?
Little. The U.S., from an economic perspective, is not really exposed to Greece at all. From a financial perspective, it's not exposed. There would be an impact on risk aversion, and markets would sell off, but that's going to create buying opportunities. I think the bigger risk to the U.S. is China rather than Greece.
And what is your estimate on China? Because, of course, we saw more volatility, and now the government there is basically saying that they will punish short sellers. They're calling them malicious short sellers. You're not allowed to sell stock in China now.
Yeah, and that is the normal reaction in a system like China. You resort to, quote, administrative measures, and you try to control the situation. Two things to look at going forward. Can they sustain the rebound in the stock market? And secondly, even more important, can this market resume normal functioning? What we got today is a bounce in prices, but the market is still not functioning properly. So it's still early days.
So do you think that that's an investable place?
I don't think it's an investable place as such because it's so highly manipulated, but I think there's a number of derived trades, particularly in Asia. At the end of the day, the Chinese have enough measures to get their market back under control, but it's not going to be an easy process, and there will be a cost in terms of economic growth there and therefore growth in the region.
And final question, Mohamed, with all of this going on around the world, what's your sense of the U.S. economy right here as we enter the second half of the year? And we are about to see second quarter earnings.
I think we continue to heal. It's a gradual process. We know we're near escape velocity. We're going to deal okay with the headwinds from abroad. But as long as Congress is polarized, and as long as we don't get some important measures to help this economy, we are going to continue in third gear when we could be in fifth gear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Mohamed, it's always wonderful to have you on the program. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
Mohamed El-Erian joining us there on the Fox News Wire.